Yeah, he feels great and ready to go.
Assuming he's all well through the preseason, will you play him in the preseason?
Most likely. Yeah, I think for all of our starters, we would have done that last year. He got hurt. So I think, the way we lean right now is to get our guys some playing time in the preseason. We'll let the first 2 weeks of practice dictate how much, when, how did we want it to look. But I think we're very open to that this year.
How do you balance that with the two joint practices?
Yeah,
as well?
you balance it. There's not exact science to how to do it. I think as we get to those points, we'll have a feel. That's why I'm not going to say exactly how many reps or what game, because that's a very fluid situation. Every year is different on the layout of the timing of your 3 games, and so no 2 years are really alike. This year's different from last year. But the joint practices are big. Those are really very similar to preseason games. The feeling the players have before the practice, the energy. Once you get accomplished out there, you can control it. And so I think that those are really good things for our team to be able to do as those 2 practices against the Bears and Colts.
I know Joe's clear for contact, but do you have built-in rest time potentially that you have?
I think part of my responsibility as a head coach is early on in training camp for a lot of veteran guys, having a great plan in place to be proactive. And we want our best foot forward really a month from now, August 23rd, as we start getting ready for New England, to be fresh and ready to go. And so I've got to do a great job managing these first couple weeks and making sure all of our vets are ready to get to that point in the best shape they can.
How difficult is that to balance? Because you've got to push them to get them into shape a little bit, but also make sure you don't push them too far so that they are ready when that week.
Yeah, training camp, it takes care of itself. And there's this ramp-up period for a reason, really these first 5 practices. And so it takes care of itself, and there's plenty of time to be flexible and be fluid as we get through 2 weeks. Okay, let's ramp it up. Okay, let's pull back a little bit. So I think that's important, just to be flexible with how it all plays out.
Playing in the preseason for Joe, is that something he requested to sort of hit the ground running, or is that a conversation that happens between you two?
He's wanted to do that over the years. It just the opportunity really hasn't come up for us to be able to do that. But I hate speaking for him, but I feel like he's in favor of it.
You've talked to T leading up to camp. What's the excitement level in his voice? We've all heard that he's all systems go.
Yeah, ready to work. Really just proud of the way T's handled the whole situation. His character shines through very brightly during the 4 years we've had him, and now handling what's a difficult business decision for him to sign the tag, report to practice, says all we need to know about T.
Did it surprise you when he signed the tender a few days after the offseason?
No, I was excited. I don't have great is expectations the right word? Expectations on when that's all going to unfold. It's all very different. And so when he did it and said he was going to do it, it was very exciting, to know that we're going to have him for the entirety of training camp.
Defensive backs, you guys brought in some new faces, you're moving some guys around. What do you see out of that position group heading into training camp, specifically Dax Hill, his ability to switch from the safety position to corner?
Yeah, excited. He's a great talent, and so it's a new opportunity for him. I know he's excited to do it. I know Chuck Burks is excited to work with him. So now just getting him the experience and let him go through some of the growing pains. And I've been really pleased with what I've seen so far in the spring, and so excited to let him go compete in the fall. Adding Geno Stone and Von Bell back to the mix in the secondary, I think, is big for our defense as well. 2 veteran leaders that know what the expectations are. To see Jordan come along, Tyson Anderson come along, I think that we've got a really good group back there.
To have Von back specifically, he was a big leader a couple of years ago when he was here. To have that voice, was it taking you back a little bit to see him back in the locker room, hear that voice again?
It is. That he's got the first parking spot for a reason. He's the first one in the building. He's a tone setter. He's a standard setter, however you want to phrase it. So it's good to have him back. I know everybody appreciates having him back in the building.
Go ahead. Please. Okay. So I know you don't want to project, but even Mike Brown said he feels like you guys have the legs to get to the Super Bowl this year. Do you even allow yourself to think like that?
I think you have to. That's certainly a goal of ours. But you take a step back, and how do you do that? You got to come out of training camp feeling really good about your team. So that's the first thing that we have to achieve. And then you've got to be the best team in the division. The best path to the Super Bowl is winning a division. And so that's always a goal of ours, is to put our best foot forward. And there's a lot of work that goes into that. So, of course, those are always our expectations. Those are always our goals for the season. but there's a lot that's got to go into play before that. And I know that our guys understand that. It's not just a team that's going to run out there and say, we're going to the Super Bowl. They know that there's a ton of work that goes before that. It's a very long journey, and there's going to be a lot of adversity along the way. And so I think that's what our guys embrace, and they understand that. And I'm excited to see them get back to work to be able to earn those expectations.
When you see your team on paper, do you see all of it? Do you see like, wow, we've got a great stacked team?
You just don't play games on paper. I think we have great talent, and we've got a mix of veteran guys and young guys, and we got to make sure everybody reaches their potential and this team gels at the right times. And so those are all unknowns. I certainly have expectations it's all going to work out, but I know better to know that it just doesn't happen naturally. And so you got to let it take shape over the course of these next several weeks and months. And I'm just excited to watch them all do that.
Is it refreshing to have some new faces on offense, some new weapons as a play caller to potentially get out there and see how they fit together? Because I'm sure there's still some unknown.
I think we've got a really good mix of guys, and it's gonna evolve over the course of training camp. We need to be flexible as coaches, as guys rise, and earn opportunity and earn flexibility with the roles. But the skill sets that we have allows for a lot of flexibility, and so I'm really we have a plan early in training camp. We're going to allow ourselves to be flexible as it goes, and but I think it's a really exciting group to work with.
Now that Joe Mixon's gone, Chase Brown stepping in.
Yep.
How important what kind of emphasis do you put on his role going forward?
Well, a big emphasis. I think he's earned that. I think he's worked the right way. He's what we hoped we were drafting. On the limited opportunities that he got last year, he dealt with an injury as well, and was on IR for a period. And so now you add Zach Moss to the mix as well, a good veteran to mix in with Chase. I think their skill sets really suit each other. I think they really fit our offense very well. And then you got Travion and Chris Evans behind them that are competing as well. So it's a room that I'm really excited to watch work in training camp, and we're going to give them plenty of opportunities to showcase what they can do.
This is a long journey for the first time for you, at least. Hard Knocks is going to be here. When you heard that news, what was your first reaction, and how are you preparing to see your whole life of work life on TV?
Yeah, I've done it my first year in Miami. We were on Hard Knocks. I'm excited for the opportunity. It's our whole division. It's not just standalone Hard Knocks. There's three other teams doing it. I think what our fan base knows is we got a lot of really fun personalities, and now the world gets to see them behind the scenes. We anticipate having a great year. We're going to put in the work to do that. So for that to be documented, I think it's going to be exciting for everybody involved. And there are times it may be a minor inconvenience, but other three teams are having to work at that as well. And so there's nothing to complain about, and our guys will embrace that opportunity.
Thinking about Joe in the preseason, you get Waldron, just throw him out there, open the playbook up, go after the fact that you're playing Shane here. Any irony there? He's now with the Bears, and treat it like a real game because you want to beat him that bad, or
No, I play plenty of friends of mine and former coworkers over the years. Preseason, regular season, Super Bowls. Played my brother however many times now, and so it's always good. I did. My family and I did go to Chicago and see Shane and his wife Megan this summer. But he's a good friend of mine. I'm excited for his opportunity in Chicago. It'll be cool to practice against them and spend some time and see how they're doing. But again, he's just one of many guys at this point I know in this league.
The decision to have two joint practices, what went into that?
That wasn't initially the case. We were set to do it with the Colts. That was something Shane and I had talked about. Shane Steichen and I had talked about early in the offseason. And then as we found out we were playing the Bears, Matt reached out and wanted to practice as well, and I thought it fit us. For a couple reasons, we've never gone on the road for a practice. I think it's the right time for team building wise to spend 3 days in a new city and go out to dinner and let those guys kind of build that camaraderie at the right time in training camp. And so the more we thought about it, the more we thought, it's not something we'll always do, travel and do the joint practices, but this year it made sense for a team. Okay. Thank you all.